الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر كبير.
Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really brilliant, deeply structured educational philosophy. We are talking about an approach that is specifically designed to completely transform how children connect with their faith, and it does it from the inside out. We're looking at the framework of Quranic tarbiyah. This isn't just about rote memorization, It's a comprehensive system built on nurturing a living, breathing connection to religion. So if you've ever wondered how education can actually shape a child's mind and their heart at the exact same time, stick around because we are in for a truly fascinating journey. Okay, let's jump right in by asking the ultimate question. How do we actually move beyond a rigid, exhausting checklist of do's and don'ts to foster a genuine, lasting love for religion in the next generation? I mean, this is a massive challenge that educators and parents face all over the globe, right? Think of it kind of like everyday parenting. It's relatively easy to force a kid to eat their vegetables by setting strict rules, but it is incredibly difficult to teach them to genuinely love cooking and to actively choose healthy food on their own. The source material we're breaking down today gives us a framework that solves this exact problem by completely flipping the traditional script on religious education. Before we get too deep into the weeds, let's quickly define three foundational terms, because understanding tarbiyah, Iman, and Tazkiyah is absolutely crucial. You're going to hear these concepts interacting constantly throughout this explainer. So, first up, tarbiyah. This is the overarching, intentional process of nurturing and cultivating a child's holistic development. Then we have Iman, which refers to that deep, unshakable internal faith. And finally, Tazkiyah, the constant, active purification of the heart from negative traits. To really picture this, imagine tarbiyah as the careful, intentional gardening process. Iman is the deep, unseen root system anchoring the plant in the soil. And Tazkiyah, well, that's the continuous daily pulling of weeds so that the plant actually has the space and the nutrients to thrive. Now, taking a look at this beautiful blueprint of the curriculum, you can see exactly how seamlessly these concepts interconnect in practice. Notice how this central values node branches right out into these deeply personal character traits, things like a pure heart, excellence, love, and brotherhood. But the real kicker here is how these inner values sit right alongside the core educational foundation areas, like Quran, fiqh, which is jurisprudence, and sirah, or history. You see, this philosophy doesn't separate academic, religious knowledge from personal character development. No way. They are woven together perfectly to produce a well-rounded, grounded individual whose everyday actions actually match their internal compass. This entire approach is anchored by a super fascinating historical insight from Aisha, a very prominent figure in early Islam. She points out that in the early days of the religion, verses regarding paradise and hellfire were actually revealed first, and this was purely to build faith. It was only after the people were firmly established in their belief that the verses of halal and haram, the permitted and the forbidden things, were finally revealed. She highlights a profound human truth here. If the strict prohibitions had come first, people would have simply rejected them. And this proves a massive educational principle. Teaching the love and reverence of the Creator absolutely must precede the teaching of strict rules. You simply have to pour the foundation before you try to build the walls. Building on that historical anchor, we really start to see why prioritizing Iman, or this internal faith, is so vital today. The source material frames the essence of Iman not just as some abstract theory, but as a deeply ingrained core. Practically speaking, having a strong internal faith acts as a much-needed shield. It actively protects young developing minds from the relentless modern trials of our time. Things like hyper-consumerism, secularism, and a purely materialistic worldview that is constantly fighting for their attention. The text describes Iman as having a unique sweetness that has absolutely no worldly substitute. And once a child tastes that sweetness, their belief won't easily collapse when they face societal doubts or endless digital distractions. It literally becomes their internal armor. So this brings us to what I think is the most powerful part, an inside-out logical progression. It's remarkably simple but so profound. It all starts with knowledge. The idea is once a child truly knows their Creator, they will love Him. I mean, you can't truly love what you don't deeply know, right? And then the natural next step happens. Once they love their Creator, they will naturally obey Him. The obedience we're talking about here isn't forced through fear or strict discipline or the threat of being punished. Instead, it effortlessly blossoms from a place of deep, willing affection. This flow, from knowledge to love to willing action, is the entire engine driving this educational framework. Okay, but how do we actually pull that off? We can't exactly just tell a child to go know something abstract. Well, the framework lays out these 3 clear, practical steps to help kids build that deeply personal connection. Step 1 is learning the names of Allah, which directly teaches his attributes, things like ultimate mercy and infinite wisdom. Step 2 is reflecting on creation. This could be observing the intricate microscopic design of a leaf in your backyard, or just looking up at the vastness of the night sky, all to understand the designer behind it. And step 3 is connecting directly to the text of the Quran itself. These aren't just theories, they are highly actionable teaching methods designed to make knowledge relevant, tangible, and deeply personal. Now, once that tangible knowledge is built up, it activates what the framework beautifully calls the actions of the heart. Here, we contrast the incredible actions we want to cultivate against the diseases that require constant purification. This ties right back into that concept of Tazkiyah, pulling the weeds that we talked about earlier. On one side, we have these amazing inner states to nurture: sincerity, deep trust, genuine gratitude, and love. But let's be real, human nature also battles heavy diseases, things like pride, greed, envy, and anger. The core argument here is that true behavioral change doesn't start with just scolding a child and saying, "Don't be angry," or "Stop being greedy." It starts by actively cleansing the heart so the positive actions can naturally take root in nice, clean soil. When we visually contrast these concepts, it really clicks. A healthy, vibrant heart is just effortlessly pumping out positive traits like hope, certainty, and patience. Now compare that to a distressed heart, one that is heavily weighed down by heedlessness, despair, and the constant urge to show off for other people. This visual perfectly captures the core philosophy. The outer actions of a person are entirely dictated by their inner state. True, excellent character, which is known as akhlaq, starts completely invisible, right on the inside. You rectify the heart, and you rectify the entire body and all of its actions. Let's map these inner changes onto the 6 core pillars of Iman, because this framework transforms them from just dry technical facts to memorize into real-world tools for resilience. Look at these profound psychological and practical outcomes. Belief in the Creator directly leads to genuine contentment and a good life. Belief in the last day? It isn't meant to be terrifying. Actually, it's designed to build an eagerness to meet the Creator and the sheer strength to strive through life's inevitable trials. And belief in Al-Qadar, or divine decree, produces incredible peace, bravery, and a strong sense of determination. It's brilliant. It uses theology as a highly practical tool for real psychological well-being. For the educators and parents out there, think of this structural breakdown as your continuous, lifelong reference point. The source material explicitly reminds us that Iman isn't limited to mere technical details. It's actually the greatest motivating force on this earth. So you aren't just teaching a child a boring checklist of 6 distinct items, you are handing them 6 distinct, incredibly powerful tools. These are the tools they are going to use to navigate complex hardships, find deep contentment, and stay focused and grounded, totally away from the endless noise and distractions of the modern world. And guys, all of this foundational work, the tarbiyah, the purification, the deep experiential learning, it all leads to this absolutely profound payoff. It's summarized so beautifully by the classical scholar Ibn Rajab. He speaks of an early paradise right here in this world. The ultimate goal of this educational framework isn't just to prepare children for a distant future reward after they pass away. It's about teaching them how to experience a beautiful, worldly paradise of absolute peace, comfort, and deep connection right now, right in the middle of the chaos of everyday life. Just take a second to imagine a serene, vibrant, worldly garden flourishing with life and perfectly still. This is the ultimate metaphor for a heart that has finally achieved that inner purification and sweet connection we've been discussing today. Imagine equipping a child with a mindset that allows their internal world to look exactly like this lush, tranquil garden, completely regardless of whatever storms or stresses are happening in the external world around them. That is the true power and honestly the ultimate beautiful vision of the Quranic tarbiyah approach. To wrap up our explainer today, I want to leave you with a final thought to really chew on. Whether you're an educator, a parent, or just someone fascinated by human development, if the absolute key to lifelong faith and excellent character is a connected, purified heart, what seeds are you planting in the next generation today? How are you shifting your own focus away from enforcing rigid rules and towards actively nurturing the roots of love, knowledge, and connection? Thank you so much for exploring this fantastic educational framework with me today. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and I'll see you in the next explainer.